Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are tackling infusible ink. I'm going to show you how to make a t-shirt using infusible ink. I've never used infusible ink before. I'm a little late to the party, but I just saw they're coming out with a whole new line of blanks for infusible ink, so I figured better late than never. So let's get started. We're going to start out in Design Space by picking whatever SVG you'd like to put onto your t-shirt. This is the one that I found and I have scaled it to the correct size that I want it to be on my shirt. Basically, once you've done that, we're going to click on Make It, and we are going to make sure that our design is mirrored like with most heat transfer vinyl products. So right here you notice I'm just separating the space between these words a little bit just so it's easier for me to cut them out later on. Once we do that, we're just going to select our material next, and I'll type in the search bar infusible ink. And just one quick tip, you can click this star button and that will add whatever material you want into your favorites page when you go to make your projects. Okay, now we have to take the infusible ink out of its packaging and place it onto the Cricut Map. So a couple of different things come inside of this packaging. It comes with a few pieces of butcher paper and a cloth piece that honestly I have no idea what that's for, but that's okay. And then the most important part, there are two 12-inch by 12-inch infusible ink transfer sheets typically included with every infusible ink package. Okay, so now it's time to apply your infusible ink transfer sheet to your Cricut mat. A couple things you want to remember when you're doing this. You want to make sure that the pretty side of the infusible ink is facing up. You are going to mirror your design, but you want to make sure that this part is facing up on your Cricut mat. Another thing that I've heard when watching a couple infusible ink tutorials on YouTube is that you want to try to not touch the infusible ink, which is basically the exact opposite of what I'm doing here. This is a really good opportunity to use your Cricut brayer tool if you have one. I have one, just didn't really think about it, but again, that's okay. Now it's time to load your mat in the machine and let the Cricut do the work. Now you'll want to eject your mat and get it ready for the second infusible ink transfer sheet. One tip that I've learned is that it makes it a lot easier if you flip your mat over like this and essentially peel your mat away from the backing of the infusible ink. It really helps with not touching the infusible ink, and it really just makes it easier to pull off from the mat. And now we're going to repeat the same process with our second infusible ink transfer sheet. Now you'll want to cut around your design and save the rest of your infusible ink transfer sheet for another project. Once you have your design cut out, you'll want to weed away the excess material, just like if you were making a vinyl decal or an HTV project. With the Cricut Infusible ink, it's a little bit harder to weed, but you don't typically use a weeding tool for it. You can just use your hands and it worked just fine. After you weed out your design, now it's time to prep your shirt. So initially when I saw videos for infusible ink, I was like, really? Is this whole extra step necessary? And honestly it is. I pulled my t-shirt right out of the packaging before I started this video, and there was a couple like little specks of lint and things like that on it. So it is necessary to go over with a lint roller before you put your design on. After you're finished lint rolling, you'll want to place your infusible ink design onto your t-shirt. And then once your design is placed onto your t-shirt, you're going to take both pieces of butcher paper that were included in your infusible ink package, and you're going to take the first piece of butcher paper and put it inside of your shirt. And then you'll want to take your second piece of butcher paper and put it on top before you press it. Cricut actually recommends putting in a piece of white cardstock paper into your t-shirt, but I just didn't have any on hand. You'll want to set your heat press to 385 degrees for 40 seconds. After your design is finished being pressed, you're going to carefully remove it from your heat press and wait until it cools down a little bit. Infusible ink is a warm peel, so you don't want to peel it immediately after you pull it off your heat press. Now it's time to carefully peel away your infusible ink transfer sheets and check out your design. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up this Cricut Infusible Ink t-shirt tutorial. Couple final thoughts. I really like the way that this design came out. I love how this leopard print looks. I think Cricut did a really great job designing that. The t-shirt itself feels really nice. You barely notice anything is even on it, which is very cool. And then one kind of drawback that I think is a pretty big bummer with this is that this specific t-shirt is pretty see-through when you put it on, which is why I'm not wearing it right now. So that kind of stinks, but Cricut is coming out with other infusible ink blanks. They already have a few out, like coasters, they have tote bags. They are coming out with wine bags, I know for sure, and a few other projects that I'm definitely interested in trying. So if you want to see more infusible ink tutorials, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.